97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is your 3 p.m. news update on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio. I am Uma Ratan Singh. Good afternoon. Members of the public are being urged to be extremely careful when using ATM machines and conducting point-of-sale transactions. The warning is coming from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in the wake of card skimming at several commercial banks recently. A 44-year-old Valsane man is the country's latest missing person. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is seeking the urgent assistance of the public in locating James Nagasaya of Greenville Avenue, Valsane North. He was last seen on July 13th but reported missing to the St. Joseph Police Station on August 4th by a relative. And in the same light of missing persons, 14-year-old Aliyah Bisoon has gone missing for the second time. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is seeking the urgent assistance of the public in locating 14-year-old Aliyah of Delhi Road, Faizabad, who was last seen at home on August 4th. Bisoon was also reported missing on May 11th but returned home shortly after. She was reported missing again to the Faizabad police station around 2 p.m. on August 5th by a relative. And that's the news headline to 3 p.m. on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio. Join us at 4 p.m. for major news. I am Uma Ratan Singh. Good afternoon.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rosha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BT Sino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U97.5 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk.
It's Decision Time 2020, U975. The election headquarters is inviting you to be part of our panel discussion on Monday, the 10th of August 2020. Join yours truly, Kenrick Juggernaut, and guest Nirvan Maharaj, President of the All Trinidad Workers Union, and former banker and economist Veds Luram, as we analyze the 2020 elections. The decision is yours. The discussions are with us. Join us election night on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
This is Samaru Ramrup inviting you on a journey down memory lane
with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM. Sign my name with a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, sign my name, yeah. With a golden anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name with a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How will you sign my name with a PNM pen? We vote in PNM. Hey. Super. Red, springy water. Red, this is on the air. Red, the sweetest, yeah. Red, springy everywhere. Red, where your body's ahead. Red, don't you got your eyes set? On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
A very good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to Politics 2020. This afternoon, a rainy Thursday evening in Couva. Today, thank you, Irma, for the 3 p.m. news update. You're locked on to U975 FM on the traditional radio band and on YouTube on RCL U975. You can also WhatsApp us on 3784975. All views are welcome. We listen to everyone here. We are open to hear all your views and entertain all discussions. A little later on in the program, seeing that SEA classes have been cancelled. SEA date itself have not been cancelled, but all classes pertaining to SEA have been cancelled. We will be speaking with professional psychiatrist and medical doctor, Dr. Varma Dayal Singh, just after the 4 p.m. newscast on this program. He will be speaking about the effects of COVID-19 on the minds of students. Also in today's discussion, we hope to bring about the fact, where does public procurement stand today? Government after government. We are seeing this in piecemeal. Will we ever see this in a lifetime? Will it be in the next upcoming government? Which government will that be? You would remember Mr. Calderhart, and when he resigned, effective immediately when the People's Partnership government took office, when he tendered his resignation from all state boards and subsidiaries to which he has been appointed. Listen to this. That is one man appointed to all of these boards, including the National Insurance Board of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, the NIB, the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company Limited, the TTMF, the National Insurance Property Development Company Limited, NIPDEC, and the Home Mortgage Bank, HMB. Calderhart. One man holding so many positions. Just like Carol Singh does in here. I'm just joking with my colleague here. Everyone welcomes Carol into the program. But just like the virus has come roaring back, the financial implication of this COVID-19 pandemic, it have only just begun. The government bailouts were banyard. Things are beginning to spiral out of control ever so often. It is even worse than April month when we first thought that we had a strike of COVID-19. Thousands more businesses are set to close, and they will be inevitably forced to close their doors, many of them for good. I am saying this because as today I took a walk on High Street through one of the malls. I was shocked to see how many food outlets have been closed up. They have packed up their kitchen and left. And I wonder how many more are set to go. How many more small and medium-sized business enterprises are set to face this? People who thought that their jobs were safe, they will now find themselves unemployed. That means that the unemployment rate will spiral out of control. And that doesn't even touch what comes to the stock market and the nest eggs so many of you have worked hard their whole lives to save. But these are just some of the effects of COVID-19 on the economy, as we were discussing yesterday with our in-house economist, Ved Seram. That discussion, let me inform our listeners, will be continuing tomorrow, by the way. Ved will join me in studio tomorrow as we will continue a very special edition of this economical discussion. But for today, we want to hear from you, the listeners out there on U975 FM. Welcome on board, and Dookie in your company for the next 3 hours. Let us get right to the lines. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to union listeners. And it was nice to hear what you said just now. I mean, it's not nice to hear the people losing their job.
It's a reality, but it
just
is.
Like myself, I have been into many areas, and I am seeing a lot of people closing up, right?
I tell you, I stood aghast in shock today, seeing that so many kitchens have packed up their wares and left.
Yeah, because what I'm saying to Anna, there's a lot of people losing their job. And I could tell you something, after this election, it will be worse because
whichever government comes in power.
But after election, there'll be a different story.
Whichever government holds the reins of power, it will be the same thing. Because of COVID.
But how come we don't hear the labor minister? I haven't heard any longest while. You know, like United States, you will hear so many people going back to a job, 2-3 million people or whatever it is. But how come you don't hear these information about Trinidad and Tobago at all? I mean, they are being paid by the taxpayer of this country. They are in a position to do a job. But you're not hearing nothing about anything at all. I mean, I haven't heard about Jennifer for the very longest while. People are losing their job for the last couple of months, and much people are going back to the job, but nothing at all about Jennifer. Right? And she's the same one. Well, I mean, prior to the crisis we have in the country, she had answers for all the labor in this country. But all of a sudden, she got completely silent in this country. Have a pleasant afternoon, and thanks for a wonderful program.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir, welcome.
I don't think Ms. Primus is up on this present state, isn't she? Is she?
No, she is not, but she is still the Minister of Labour.
Well, I understand that. And Ms. Dookie, you just explained to the gentleman, and if he was listening to what you were saying, instead of going on that road, I could understand you probably need to hear from the minister. But what you were saying to him, that there is a new normal coming. 4 million people in America who are receiving rental grants is no longer at the end of this month or probably the end of July collecting that money. So we're talking about 4 million households are going to be. So we ain't faced nothing yet. And we cannot blame the government for the economic downturn because this is something that is happening global. So the lady who promising you 50,000 new jobs, where is she going to get it from? And if she creates it, how is she going to sustain it? Because it's the same people complaining about borrowing. Mr. Ann, explain to them what he was trying to tell them again, please.
Yes, okay, thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ms. Ann. And this is why you see propaganda. When people talk, they don't convey the right information. The question about people in America homeless and people not getting the $600 US in the United States. It's a matter for Congress. They are now deliberating whether they're going to extend it. They're going to extend it for 6 months or so up to the end of the year. What they are deliberating whether they should give it at 600. The House of Representatives and the Senate, they are negotiating, right, payment of such monies, right? And Trump says he's going to sign it off if they agree. So the fact remains is that in the initial case, in the initial instance, it was granted up to a certain period. It expired, and they are in negotiation to extend it. So that nonsense propaganda thing we're going on here, that ain't working with me. Another thing I'm talking about, yes, you have a situation where in Trinidad and Tobago, right, with the government, the conditions that now exist in terms of the economy, yes, but I am saying the condition, the catalyst for the decline was laid long before COVID. All COVID did was exacerbate the situation. And I'm saying what you need is astute leadership. You need sound management to get the economy going. I don't think that Ember and the PNM they are able to do it. Instead, what they have done over the last 5 years, they have collapsed the economy. They closed down Petrotrin. There were almost 550-something thousand people lost their jobs, right? In Point Lisas, about 9 plants, energy plants closed down. So I'm saying long before COVID, the Chamber of Commerce in South Trinidad was telling you that because of the closure of Petrotrin, business was dead. All in Cuba, all about. Contractors would not get it because they lay off people. The business was dead. All that COVID did was to exacerbate that. And what you need now, you need good management, good governance to get the economy, which Rowley and Ember cannot provide. For 5 years, Ember been there, and we have had negative growth. All economists in Trinidad, they go tell you that Ember was mismanaging the economy. They told you that. The IMF, Moody's told you that. Standard & Poor's, they told you that. What was going on? So what you telling me? I must sit down there and wait on Ember and them to carry me with in the grave? No, we have to get, this is why you change government. Because when government are not working well, you try somebody else. And when in the 90s, Manning wasn't doing well, they brought in Pandey. And Pandey sort of gave the economy a boost, right? They were able to reduce taxes, indirect and direct taxation. And they were able to get the economy going. In Barbados, Mia Motley, the government, before they brought down, they weren't managing properly, and the economy was in a mess. And they brought in Mia Motley, and they got the economy going. In Jamaica, they brought in Holness, and they got rid of the other lady, I can't remember her. In Grenada, they brought in Keith Mitchell. Don't tell me I have to sit down there and I'm a person not performing, and I sit down there. Where you want to carry me? To my grave? No.
Okay, caller, let us take another call here. We have to entertain all calls. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Well, partner, you're quite good afternoon again. You're quite wrong. Yes, I'm glad you could point out that this started long before, because the oil price has dropped as this government come into office, and that has nothing to do with that. It's global performance. All the way down to $35. And then reached that point where they was actually telling you, they're paying you to take a barrel of oil. And what do we sell, my brother? Our main source of income is oil and gas. So, considering that I have a good management of the economy, from a budget of 63 billion or 65 billion, all the way down, and went down to 40-something, and right now it's 53. So think about it. And don't tell me about Petrotrin, because I haven't seen Petrotrin workers on the road protesting that they ain't get nothing.
Okay, let's hear another view. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The caller before the last, I hope people like them really going out to vote. And two, the last caller, I wonder if he is properly being paid from the savings the government made from not having to pay subsidies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 636-7547, 2275739. If you wish to get in on the program, that is the number to call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'll be very brief. I was just finding out, just asking. I heard the Prime Minister in the news conference said that they spent billions of dollars to this COVID, the first wave, since March of the lockdown. But I am not seeing it, and I don't know if any You know, if there's any accountability in terms of saying, okay, this amount was spent in social services, this was spent in Ministry of Health, this amount, because if you're seeing that you pulled out billions from the HSF, you need to give a proper breakdown and accountability. Even on the platform these nights of the election and whatever, you're not seeing it. So I'm just calling to ask you all as a station, I know you all do your investigation, it would be nice if it could be raised so we will know where the money is being spent. Yes, everybody could say, oh, people thief the money. But let me give people the benefit of the doubt and let me see where the breakdown, if where they put in the money, how the figures went in with the accounting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 636-7547, 2275739. That is the number to dial if you wish to get in and have a view on this program. Good afternoon.
Ms. Duki, good afternoon. Just briefly, I just want to ask one question.
Sure.
If it's okay for Ms. Julian John to give her a fridge, stove, and TV for vote, I want to ask one
Well, I was just
question.
about to ask that question after the callers call in.
Yeah, but I just want to ask one question. Is it all right if the PNM go and do it? I hope nobody have any problem with PNM go and do it.
Okay, thank you. Well, I was just about to ask that, you took the words out of my mouth. It is a very serious allegation which have been traversing Facebook, right? And a person is guilty of, according to the law, I'm reading here from the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, where elections are concerned, a person is guilty of a corrupt practice, who is guilty of bribery. A person is guilty of bribery who directly or indirectly, by himself or by another person on his behalf, gives any money or procures any office for any elector or for any other person on behalf of any other elector to do so. Right? This is what the law states. They are guilty of bribery practice if they make any gift or procurement available to another person, promises or endeavors to procure the return of any person at an election or at a vote of any elector. It goes on and on. It's a long list. I can speak for a whole hour on this, but let me hear what this caller here has to say.
I'm sorry.
Okay, continue to call us in 636-7547. If you have missed that number, 227-5739. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, welcome.
And I heard Eric on another frequency just about half an hour ago with that same said issue. Let me ask this question. If there's a natural disaster in the country as of today, and this campaign is taking place, and you lost in your home every single thing, and you are asking and begging to get back on track, will that be a crime if people decide in any part of the country, any political party wish to help anybody? You see, we forgot that area got a flood. And one lady went out and asked Ms. Julian John for assistance. Now, let me ask this question. 4.5 years going on the road, we never get roads fixed, we never get bridges fixed, we never get drains cleaned, but we're getting it now. Isn't that a bribe as well? Isn't that a bribe?
Yes, it is.
You see, let us balance the scale, Mr. Eric. You all are focused on PNM and you love your color, you love your party, you love your leader. I don't belong to no political party, so I balance here right now. If the UNC is doing rubbish, I will bash them. If the PNM is doing rubbish, I will bash them. But I can safely say this. Be fair to the people who lost things in flood. If you have never been flood, Mr. Eric, you need to experience it.
Larry, let me ask you something. These gifts that are being given out in La Joquita, you think it is really because of flood?
Well, according to what I heard from some callers, that a lady met Miss Julian John, an old lady, and she cried out to Miss Julian John to get some assistance for her. And if Miss Julian John is doing this with the goodness of her heart, wherever she get these things from, well, she will have to answer for it.
Well, just 3 days before an election.
Okay, fine. Well, let me ask you this question. If rain decides to fall continuously in Penal DB, and we down in South here get flooded real bad, but we lost with bed, with fridge, with stove, with TV, everything, and we asking the corporation for help, and if let's just say that members of the United National Congress decide to lend a hand by getting things back for us at this particular time to get us back on track, is that a bribe? Or is that helping humanity? You see,
so what about the day? No, what about the day before election? If this should happen, you think they should come out and do this? There are rules.
The day before,
but there are rules to follow.
There are rules to follow. I agree. So then Ms. Julian John need to explain where she get these things and how many people she have helped. And I agree with that.
And it is not one person. You can see.
I agree on that. But you see, when people following a political party, they
Well,
tend to forget what
in
the other
my
party
opinion,
doing.
you want to know my opinion? She shouldn't have made herself present there. If
Well,
she
what she
wanted
should
to
have done-
help, listen, if I want to help from my heart and I want to give a child $100,000 for heart surgery, I don't have to go and advertise it on the newspaper.
I agree.
I will do it from my heart.
And
God will know.
And I have done many charity
God
work.
will
and you
know.
have- you- No, wait. I have done many charity work in my time right now presently. And I have never posted anything on Facebook or made it mention to anybody in the media.
Well, that is my point.
Exactly.
She did
What
not
she
need
should
to
have
be
done-
present when that
Not only
was
that,
being
what, she should,
offloaded.
what the candidate should have done was refer the lady to the corporation and let the corporation take it from
Or
there.
have
Because
somebody else do it within your team. It's
not
very
only
simple.
That, not only that, and there's also the disaster management unit. They have to handle that. They have to handle that. But when people like to, you see what's going on right now in this silly season, and I'm listening to all different frequencies when the day is up, I can tell you this much. When somebody calling the Morning Caring program, they call your next program and they say the same thing, same said thing, and it's a propaganda going on and on. And that is why we will not get nowhere. Let me just touch base on something else fast. 8 new cases today. What
Yes.
I have been saying for the past 3 weeks, it is coming to pass. And have a pleasant good afternoon.
Thank you. I don't think a man like Dr. Rowley, the Prime Minister of this country, will make such a statement without proper evidence. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
You see this thing with Jolene John? She gave, I'm following this story. The PNM is saying they're giving away stove and fridge and all kind of thing. That was just one instance. That is just one instance. The lady called for help. Maybe
It's
she
not
didn't
one
know.
lady. You could see from the photograph, it is a truckload of items. It's not
Well,
one person.
it
That
is
is
a-
why I decided to go, listen off here, that is why I decided to go into what the law is, whereas what is an elector, what is voting, what is the purpose of this section, what is bribery, who is guilty of bribery. This is why I'm educating you, the voting public out there, in case you do not know, okay, what consists of a candidate bribing the electorate. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, yeah, and thanks, because that man just now come to try to tell you if you get flooded today, but then come back and tell you the corporation supposed to help you and this one so else. So if you get flooded today, then it's not the UNC supposed to come and help you, it's the corporation. So what Ms. Jolene John is doing is trying to buy votes. And you come in to justify that with a flood that gone how long ago? And you ever going on that the same people who telling you that is everybody in Greenville get nothing and them didn't get nothing. So how come she didn't get? All you living in a bubble.
Thank you, sir. Listen, a person is guilty of bribery who knowingly pays or causes to be paid any money to any person in discharge or repayment of any money, wholly or in part, right? It is bribery at any election. Subsection 1 to 3 do not extend and shall not be. You don't need to know all of that. That is the law. An elector is guilty of bribery who, before or during an election, directly or indirectly by himself or by another person on his behalf, receives, agree to receive, or contracts for any money, gift, loan, right, or place of employment for himself. It doesn't have to be a fridge or stove. They could promise you jobs, giving you money and T-shirts. All of that is bribery, according to the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Anne, and your listeners out there. I want to talk to the people out there for a second, Anne. When the food card was given out, when people were suffering with COVID and all these businesses were shutting down, what did they do with those food cards? Who did they give those food cards to? Regional corporations, social services? What ministry got that food card to distribute to the general public unbiasedly? The government gave it to their ministers, representatives, so they could work the crowd and get the crowd. And who is the majority there? PNM. And they say there was big scandals in the food distribution. They never really identified anybody. But look at this. You see how biased it is? And now they're saying that she's giving away truckloads of fridge and refrigerators. I'll tell all you something. I've experienced 5 floods. We lost everything downstairs. My mom had been living there for years. We had floods before, but never like that last flood. And right now, the back of our house is knee full with water. And I'm telling you, all of our appliances have problems that we had downstairs. We had a very expensive freezer. We had to throw it out. It was broken down. I mean, the thousands of dollars I spent on my car. And I know what it is like. I've experienced it, and you feel hopeless. I am glad she's doing this. I am glad, and I'm telling you, if you could give me a fridge, I would appreciate it. I'm telling you, all of you right now, we have poor people in this country, and you have to go to a minister and MP to get a food card. You can't go to the ministry and get that. That is racial bias. That is cultural bias. I'm done, Ann. Thanks.
Thank you very much. It's just about 3:28. Let us take this last call before we take a break. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Anduki.
Afternoon.
How many voters they have in La Hoqueta, Talpalo?
Yeah, I have it before me. I'll have to look it up. Go ahead, make your point.
No, I wanted to know if Ms. Dillingham if it's 10,000 people up there, or it's one person, or the 10,000 people voters there. I can't see that, right? Help.
Hello, La Hoqueta, Talparo. There are 18,135 voters. 18,135 voters in the area of La Hoqueta, Talparo. Let us take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
Kathy's Cool Spot Ace LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
Trinidad and Tobago, PNM again, PNM again. Rain or sun, we vote in PNM, PNM again, PNM again, PNM again. Man, woman and child, we vote in PNM again. Hey. To serve the people and country, not this division. We have the most brilliant mind, providing best solutions. 10th of August 2020, for the election. We moving with Dr. Rowley to lead the nation. Cause the PNM is the right choice at the right time. On election day, vote PNM. Hey, don't get left behind. The PNM is the right choice at the right time. On election day, vote PNM. Now it's PNM time.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, Jesus is the answer.
It's Yummy Tummy Time with Umi. I am Uma Ratan Singh inviting you to join me on Yummy Tummy with Umi. Mondays to Thursdays, just after the 10 a.m. news update and Let's Talk Guyana. Yummy Tummy with Umi brings to you exciting and tasty recipes, and you can even learn to recreate dishes using leftovers. Yummy Tummy with Umi on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Catch us on YouTube at RCL U975 and Facebook. Remember to eat healthy, stay happy. Happy eating!
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The virus is spreading within our borders. But what can we do? Rowley announced the borders were closed, but we never got the whole story. Boats still arrive from Venezuela every day. We never really had a plan. Where is the testing? How many are really sick? How many will continue to arrive illegally on our shores? Will we ever know? Will he ever tell us? If he will never answer, then the answer is change.
That was a paid political announcement.
25 minutes before the top of the hour, you're locked on to Politics 2020, the number one political talk show in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me say welcome also to all our viewers who are locked on via the World Wide Web, those who are streaming live and who are on YouTube on RCL U975. Welcome. You are free to post your WhatsApp messages on 378-4975. Let's return to the lines. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And
Yes, go ahead.
I am sure if you call Jolene John, you could get to the bottom of this thing. Because I think
Make your point, sir.
Huh?
You make your point. I have a program here to run. I will call
The point
when I
is,
see fit.
you always call people that you know, and this is something we want to know, so we could get the answer out of the horse's
Do you know
mouth.
if I've tried to call her and perhaps she cannot speak? You don't know that. Make your point.
No, I just tell you that we could call and
Make your point. 6367547. Please call with sensible things. Don't call to tell me how to run the show, please. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Miss Anne. How are you going?
Very well.
Even Trinidad and Tobago.
How is the weather up in New Grant?
Night, it's overcast. It's a little shower there, no pass off there. But today I met the PEP candidate for Princess Tongman, Kim Young Lo.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
A person of Chinese descent?
Yeah, well, I wasn't aware that he was the PEP candidate for Princess Tong.
Yes, well, Princess Tong has more than 2 candidates that will be. So you have a wide choice.
Yeah, we had 3.
Will you be voting?
I'll make up my mind on Monday.
Oh, by Monday. You are one of the undecided voters.
Yeah, I the undecided ship.
You're one of the 40% who
I wanna
don't
be
care whichever government is in power.
No. But if I didn't care, I would not be calling in. But I just undecided. But I'll make up my mind Monday, don't worry. Have a blessed one.
Well, if you don't vote, then don't complain, eh?
I don't come to that offer suggestions.
Okay, thank you. What I am trying to do here with this issue is educate the listeners on what is the referendum here. I don't think the Prime Minister, person in his capacity, these are very serious allegations, and I don't think he will make such an allegation just vike. Okay? So, therefore, I am letting the listeners know out there what is the law and what it is not. Okay? What is corruptly seen as buying votes. And what is an elector? Who is an elector? An elector is a person who is eligible to vote on August 10th. Right? And how an elector can be guilty of bribery. You as the elector, you can also be guilty. Let me say that. You can also be charged. Not only the person who is offering themselves as a candidate, the elector can also be charged. That is the law as it stands. 6367547 2275739. You can call in. Tell me, how do you feel about SEA classes being shut down now? There are no more SEA classes, but the date for SEA, as announced by the Prime Minister, remains. Right, we had about 8 new cases again today. I was looking a bit about over the seat of Tunapuna, which have always been a marginal seat. You know, let me move on to another issue here. It seems as though this issue with bribery is getting under the nails and skins of some of our listeners, but we will continue discussion on it during the course of the show. But in the seat of Tunapuna, We have the People's National Movement candidate Esmond Ford, who is the incumbent, and we also have David Naked on behalf of the United National Congress. Now, what strikes me, I know that polls don't win votes, but for those who don't know, not everyone may we have read the poll. What strikes me is the number of undecided voters that we have in this area. This being a marginal constituency, Tanapuna have always been a marginal constituency. You have out of 100, when asked if there were a general election on August 10th, how would you vote? 39% said for the PNM, 23% for the UNC, 10% said they would not vote at all, and 22% said they are undecided. So when you add the would not vote and the undecided, that is 22 and 10, 32% of the electorate there, they are undecided. Why is this? Why we have this pattern that so many people remain undecided, particularly in Tanapuna? If you live in the Tanapuna area and you wish to call in or you have a view on it, you can always call in 636-7547, 227-5739. Some of the things that the electorate there would like to see, one of the things being roads and drains and flooding and so on, eliminated. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm calling to let you know that regarding the SCA,
yes,
I couldn't see why the children could not write that before they shut down the country since March month. When the 12th of March we had the full case.
You are saying that from March month to now didn't make much difference in their education?
No, what I'm saying is they could have the SCA since probably ending of March to the first week in April because we didn't have any community spread then. The cases
well, you know, so they didn't know that they were going to have community spread, and probably they were going with a syllabus, and probably perhaps they did not complete the syllabus.
Right, but now we reach into a position that now you're going to, the kids no longer have classes to go to. They will be at home from now until the 20th. So you had to ask yourself, what frame of mind these children will be with
well, that is why I'm calling a top one of the country's top psychologists, Dr. Varma Dayal Singh. Listen, just after 4 p.m., he's coming on air with me to speak about the effects this will have on the students, on their minds, and so on.
And even so, if the SCA take place on the 20th, nobody could say for sure when these children are going to start school. Because as it is, the cases keep going up every day.
Well, yes, there's no confirmation that school will start in September.
Right, and after elections, we don't know if we're going to have some form of shutdown again because the cases going up.
Well, we have been warned about that by the current Prime Minister. And we are responsible for our own behavior, you know, people in bars and so on. They continue to gather in groups of more than 10. You pass near a bar and you can't even pass on the road. So we are our own worst enemy, I would say.
He also said that if there's any lockdown again, they don't think you will have the money right now to facilitate the lockdown that he did in the last 5 months.
Yes, that is why I mentioned the fact about unemployment and the amount of jobs that are going to be lost even during this period, and if there's a further lockdown.
What I'm getting at, so at the point in time when we were locked down for the 2 months, proper 2.5 months, maybe a little more, and with the cases was only reach 116, we spent over $10 billion plus. $10 billion plus. Yes, everything probably looking so good so far, but at what price you had was to pay? Or if it is, let me just say, it reached a level now that we reach a couple hundred cases in a month or two. What is our situation financially? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, what's our case financially right now? Because
well, according to the Prime Minister, since the last lockdown cost billions, if a lockdown had to return, that money isn't available.
It's not available.
It is not available. And therefore, one of the first things will be that jobs saved in that lockdown may not be salvageable.
Right.
So that is why I say and made the statement that we are our own worst enemies. If we were to wear our mask and didn't congregate and didn't personally contribute to the spread of this virus, perhaps we would not get there.
So my last question before I go is how it is that we're in a position right now and why it is that we still going ahead with CPL 2020. That's my last question.
Okay, sir. Well, I can't answer that. That is a question for the Prime Minister to answer. He indicated that the CPL players, they would not be in contact with the general public out there. Hello, good afternoon.
And a blessed day to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
You see, in this country, if we had COVID from then, it could never have a second wave in it. The COVID disease is here, and it would continue. The people who come in from Venezuela and they say they're bringing them, how the hospital have them? How these places who say this COVID is not a story of relay. In this last 2 weeks, everything going up to hundreds. Somebody is telling us lie, and we the citizens have to follow. COVID is something serious, and we cannot make joke with it. And if a man lies to win an election, he continuously telling the people lie in this country, I'm asking a question. Is he doing that? And when the doctor, Mr. Roshan Parishram, he is the man to say if a country could shut down or not to shut down. He has that power. And if he tell the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister refuse to do what he say, then nobody has hand right in this country. And the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, for the last 5 years and this 5 years, which one you has get better treatment from? And I think Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bishesa spent taxpayers' money perfectly well to all taxpayers. Every creed and race under her had a fair share. And this is why Mrs. Kamla Prasad, if the people from South stand up and say, we get everything in the North from South and them get nothing. They get university, it shut down. They get in hospital, it are working. Whatever under PNM, the South always punish. The South land always punish under the PNM.
All right, let's take another call, please. You can always call back later on in the program. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anne. I saw a claim being made by Amnesty International stating that we should be much more fair with the entries of the Venezuelans in this country.
Yes.
And we should not send them back to a country that is it have unrest and not being good then. Let me ask a question. Did Amnesty International set a figure of how many Venezuelans that we should take into this country to give support to?
No, they did not.
Good. Look at our economic crisis that is taking place in this country. You blatantly said at the opening of your program, you went down High Street and you've seen a lot of places closed.
Yes.
How much more people that this country can take in at this particular time, knowing that we have COVID, knowing the Prime Minister said with his breath...
We have an economic downturn.
That's right. What really going on with Amnesty International? Could somebody answer me that question? Or could they set a figure for the government of this country to say that, okay, we're taking 30,000, taking 60,000 again? Where are we going to put them? Where are we going to get work for them? Right now, Trinidad and Tobago citizens lost their work. They cannot even get work. What is wrong with Amnesty International? I cannot see and I cannot understand why Amnesty International is saying that we, even if they come through illegally, we have no right to send them back to a country that is facing hardship. We just a small island here that has a 1.3 million at the time before the amnesty was called. We give them the amnesty, they register them fine, no problem. Some of them are still working, some of them not getting work as yet. But how much more can we take in this country? Something is really wrong with Amnesty International. I would like somebody to correct me if I'm wrong. Give me an answer why Amnesty International is doing this at this particular time. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. 636-7547, 2275739. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good. I want to make 2 points. If you don't
Go
mind.
ahead.
Well, first point is this whole aspect of SDA. The entire world is struggling with the reopening of educational institutions. It's not only Trinidad, the entire world. Right now in Germany, they're struggling to determine when to reopen the whole of Europe, America. So it's not a unique situation. Right now, all governments are baffled or confronted with the problem. How do they complete the current academic year? And how do they treat the new students for the new academic year? Because in September, you will have 18,000 students waiting to join school, correct? At first year. And what is going to happen with the current academic? So I mean,
it's a new normal that they have to readjust to.
Yeah, and Trinidad will have to...
COVID is not here to go away anytime soon.
No, and then we will have to work on the experiences of other countries and how you treat with the current academic year and future academic years in order to bring things back at a normal, if it will ever be normal. And the second point I want to make, when UNC get a curtail this August 10th, you know Kamala will still be the opposition leader. Because the people who she have selected, or which are handpicked, will be supporters of her. So they're not going to vote against her to be opposition leader. They will support her for the opposition leader. Right? So we will be back to, in the opposition, it will be the same normal. But the country will be operating a new normal. All right, take care.
Thank you, caller. 636-7547, 227-5739. Coming up at 4 p.m. is Uma Ratan Singh with the 4 p.m. newscast. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Anne.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And just ago, they want we to take in the Venice. Why the other islands not taking some of them too?
Well, they have been to other islands as well. I can't speak for the other islands. I can only speak for here.
But the most of them coming here. I mean, what is it? Is it to get more votes? Or
well, I think it is because of the distance is one of it, and easy access is one of the main theories that I can present.
Well, I find that's unfair to us, eh? Some of we own people can't get work, so what? And these people come and work in, and then all the other people say, no, they want to work, they're working. Yes, while they're working, but some of our people cannot get jobs too.
So you would admit some of our people are also very lazy.
I find that so unfair. Okay, Anne,
okay,
thank you.
Thank you. 636-7547, 227-5739. You know, I present both sides of the argument. It is up to you to agree with me or disagree. It's 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Remember, coming up at 4 p.m. is the 4 p.m. major newscast. Caller, please lower the volume on your radio.
Good afternoon, sorry.
Hello, Mr. Belmont.
Okay, this is Belmont here.
Yes, go ahead.
I heard your caller before this last year said that when Mr. Bisesa gets curtailed, this and that and so on, I would like him to tell me, later I will explain the other side of the story, to tell me what yardstick he using to say Mr. Bisesa will lost. Because I would like to remind him that in 86 the PNM went through 33-3 and they have never recovered. They have never won an election convincing. They were 18-18, 17-17, 19-15, and the last equation before this last one, they were 12-19, 12-29. And tell me what yardstick are using to say Mrs. Bisesa are going to lose the election to come. And then explain why he should be saying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have just a couple minutes to call in again. 636-7547, 227-5739. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Ann.
Yes, welcome.
Right. I just joined the program while you were trying to dissect this poll.
With Tanapuna.
Puna.
Yes.
You know, I'm looking at the papers here now, table 6. And I can't understand. I can't understand how to interpret this, you know.
Table 6.
Yeah.
Just give me a second here. Yes. Which party is best capable of? Right, and they have all the necessities that you would need in an area, utilities like lights and water. And they have each party, and you have those who don't know, and the other would be the smaller parties, and none would be those who don't have an opinion.
Okay, right. Well, with respect to utilities, does it mean that the PNM is better capable of...
Well, 38% of the voters think so.
Right. And the second item,
Mhm.
is it that they are 34%...
With corruption, yes.
Does that mean they are better in corruption?
I don't think it would be better in corruption. When you talk about corruption, but when you speak about corruption, it is something negative, obviously.
If they say the party best capable of corruption, and they
No, they didn't say. Well,
party best capable.
I understand where you are getting at. I don't think so.
Okay, and crime,
Mhm.
they are best.
Well, they are saying under the PNM, this was the percent of crime we had.
35% of crime.
Yes.
Expected 20% under the
Under the UNC, yes.
Oh, I'm sitting down here trying to dissect.
Yes, I know.
Poll, eh?
Go ahead, I'm very well at dissecting these
in a
charts.
in a more objective way.
Mm-hmm.
Education, are they 40% better in providing education?
Yeah, that is what they would be saying.
Oh, I see. Anyhow, these are the views of the people in Tunapuna.
Yes. And as I stated on emphatically that polls don't win elections, but I throw the thought out there because I want to hear what you, the callers, have to say.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
I quite agree that prior polls don't determine the election. The poll on the day of the election determines that.
Exactly.
Right,
Who comes out on August 10th? That is the poll that is going to determine who will win.
But I'm still in doubt with respect to this second item.
Corruption? No. Well, I will tell you why I said so. It can't. If it is a poll they are doing, it can't be they want to highlight the bad aspect of the party. It have to always be on the positive side, right? If you understand what I am saying.
Well,
so they are saying the party best able to handle corruption. I don't think anybody would want to highlight the corruption.
Well, I think they are very capable of handling corruption. And they are number one in that. Going back.
I know where you are getting at.
I don't want to call anybody's name, but I think it's well documented. Yeah, the achievements of the PNM with respect to corruption. I'm not saying the other parties won't corrupt.
Yes, I know. Perhaps the editor of the Trinidad Guardian needs to look at that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
6367547. You have 3 minutes again to call before the top of the hour, where we have our major newscast. Remember, coming up just after 6 p.m., you have Mukesh Baburam with Talk Your Talk. You don't want to miss that. As the last caller were pertaining to this poll in the Tunapuna area, right? You know, under the People's National Movement, there is a 41% increase in illegal immigrants, Venezuelan. That is what the residents of Tunapuna are saying. In terms of letting foreign nationals come home, 35% have voted for the PNM, 24% for the UNC. I don't know how they arrived at that because under the United National Congress, I don't think there was an issue of foreign nationals coming home. And surprisingly, in youth training and development, the PNM scored 42%, whereas the UNC scored 23%. It's just before the 4 o'clock hour. We have news at 4. And when we come back, remember, we have that interview with Dr. Varma Dayal Singh.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM. Sign my name with a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, sign my name. With a golden anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name with a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How will you sign my name with a PNM pen? We vote in PNM.
Dancing from the higher. Red. The sweetest, yeah. Red. Sprinkle everywhere. Red. When your body say hey. Red. When you come to I say.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 4 p.m. news on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Uma Ratan Singh. Good afternoon. Police are urging persons to be extra vigilant when using ATMs and using their debit and credit cards. Reports of card skimming at several commercial banks have been on the rise in recent days. The fraud squad says between Monday and Wednesday this week, over 60 reports of card skimming were made, with close to $300,000 being stolen from victims. Police say persons should pay attention to tape and the smell of glue on any part of the ATM, bulkiness on the card insert area or the PIN keypad, anything hanging from the ATM, and loose fitting attachments. If you believe the ATM has been tampered with or you may be a victim of skimming, contact the bank or the police immediately. Persons are advised to check their account balances regularly or sign up for instant notifications to keep track of all transactions. Cedros police have arrested a 23-year-old Venezuelan migrant for possession of a firearm and ammunition. On Wednesday, officers spotted a man walking along a Granville Old Road with a 12-gauge shotgun in his hand. The man was immediately intercepted by officers and searched. The officers found the 2 12-gauge rounds and 6 9mm ammunition in his possession. The migrant was held and is currently being quarantined. Contact tracing will now be done on 5 persons to determine how they contracted the COVID-19 virus. This comes as the Ministry of Health has recorded 8 new cases overnight. This was confirmed in its 10 a.m. update. The ministry said 3 of the cases came into contact with persons who tested positive for the virus. This now takes the number of positive cases to 207. Just yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced the discontinuation of SEA classes as a result. Bars and restaurants will be closely monitored. Meanwhile, a political meeting last night, Dr. Rowley reminded the nation of the negative effects of the virus. A 14-year-old Aliyah Bisoon, who recently went missing on May 11th, has gone missing again. The teen recently returned home safely, but according to reports, Aliyah Bisoon of Delhi Road, Faizabad, was last seen at home on August 4th and reported missing the next day by a relative. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is now seeking the public assistance once more in finding 14-year-old Aliyah. Bisoon is described as of East Indian descent, 4 feet 8 inches tall and slim built, with a fair complexion and short black hair. She was last seen wearing a pair of blue 3/4 jeans, a blue and white armless top and a pair of black sandals. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of the missing teen is asked to call 800 TIPS or 482 GARI or report via the TTPS app. And regionally, $1.3 million Eastern Caribbean dollars have been allocated to Grenada's 2020 Farm Labor Subsidy Program in light of the far-reaching implications of the coronavirus on the agricultural sector. The program is part of the government's economic stimulus package for the agriculture sector. It aims to minimize the impact of the virus on the food and nutrition sector while at the same time increasing food security. Minister of Agriculture and Lands Yolande Bain Horsford recently declared the program open. And internationally, people returning from Belgium, the Bahamas and Andorra from midnight on Thursday will have to quarantine at home for a fortnight according to the Welsh government. It is expected the rest of the UK will follow suit shortly. Belgium has one of the highest coronavirus case rates in Europe at 49.2 per 100,000 people compared with 14.3 per 100,000 in the UK. The changes were announced by the health minister. The 3 destinations will be removed from the list of countries which have been exempted from border health controls. Luxembourg, Spain, and Serbia were all removed last month. And in the news of weather, for the period this afternoon and tonight, Trinidad and Tobago and the Windward Islands will experience partly cloudy spells with showers, which will occur in varying localities this afternoon. Heavy showers or thunderstorms are expected in a few areas towards late afternoon. Night will be partly cloudy at times with few showery spells. Street or flash flooding is likely in areas of heavy showers. Seas will be slight to moderate with waves 1 meter to 1.5 meters in open waters and near calm in sheltered areas. Currently, it's 31 degrees Celsius. Sunset at 6:27 p.m. And that brings us to the end of the 4 p.m. news on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Join us at 6 p.m. for another newscast. I am Uma Ratan Singh, wishing you a good afternoon.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you. Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rochelle Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
Trinidad and Tobago, PNM again, PNM again. Rain or sun, we vote in PNM, PNM again, PNM again, PNM again. Man, woman and child, we vote in PNM again. Hey. To serve the people and country, that is the vision. We have the most brilliant mind, providing best solutions. 10th of August 2020, for the election. We moving with Dr. Rowley to lead the nation. Cause the PNM is the right choice at the right time. On election day, vote PNM. Hey, don't get left behind. The PNM is the right choice at the right time. On election day, vote PNM. Now it's PNM time.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The virus is spreading within our borders. But what can we do? Rowley announced the borders were closed, but we never got the whole story. Boats still arrive from Venezuela every day. We never really had a plan. Where is the testing? How many are really sick? How many will continue to arrive illegally on our shores? Will we ever know? Will he ever tell us? If he will never answer, then the answer is change.
That was a paid political announcement.
Welcome back to all our listeners and viewers on Politics 2020. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Uma, for that 4 p.m. newscast. Well, it's back to the lines. You can call us. We are discussing COVID-19, the effects, the closure of classes which have been dismissed for SEA students. We are also discussing the open borders with Venezuelans. We are discussing elections. Joining me in studio now is Nicole Duki. Nicole, we were talking about Jerlyn John, and like that raised a lot of eyebrows among the callers, and whether or not it is ethical. So I was going through the law for those citizens who don't know what comprises of an electorate, and how I was informing them that they can be charged for receiving items as bribery to vote.
Yes.
Let's hear what this caller has to say. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. I got a missed call.
Dr. Dale Singh and Duki here.
And you're live on the air.
Okay, well, good. Nice to get on to you at last.
Yes, thank you very much. I was just telling my colleague here in studio, I could bet you will call me back.
Okay, nice.
How are you?
You go fine, thanks. Fine, thanks.
Okay, thank you for your time. For all our listeners know, this is Dr. Valma Dayal Singh, and he has promised to speak to me about the issue regarding SES students in particular. But we will deal with the effect of COVID-19 on all students, doctor, at this time, because most of them, all of them, in fact, have been kept at home since the month of March. I want to know, how does a person adapt or learn to weather these changes? I'm speaking about both parent and child.
Well, COVID initially, right? Even when you look at what's happening, you found that initially the lockdown had caused what you call an adjustment problem. So people, once their routine has been somehow disrupted, and changing from that structure, changing from that daily life, sometimes your mind would not really settle. It wouldn't settle into that, and you get what you call uneasiness. It can lead to anxiety. It can even lead to depression. And it's really what we call an adjustment disorder that happens once that is affected. And it more affects children, because you see, children want that structure, that routine in their life.
They want security.
Yes, because adults may be able to rationalize up to a stage. Children now find this whole thing kind of might disrupt them. Now, the thing is, it depends on the age of the child too. So let's say there's a young child. They might be glad that the parents are home with them. A teenager now who, sometimes after you reach a teenager life, your friends are more important than your
Yes, I know.
parents. So parents is number one enemy. That could affect them more than
Of course.
a child. Yeah, and then you look at the temperament of the child too, right? Because some children may be introverted. So a child may not mind staying home reading, playing games, while the ones who like to go out and sports and all these things.
They have been curbed.
Yeah. So it depends on the individual child, and it also depends on the parent.
The age.
The age. At the age, different temperament, but also the parent. Let us say you are a nervous parent, and the children will absorb all that nervousness from the parent, the anxiety. Let's say you're just looking at this COVID on the TV all the time and the deaths and whatnot. The children will absorb those things and they will get that. So with the COVID, you found that the initial stuff was there, but then after the initial lockdown, was there, two things we noticed happened there. In families, we found there was more abuse among like domestic violence, and children witnessed this. And remember, if a child grows up into that home where you have domestic violence, that child will also either accept it sometimes or either perpetrate it. So we got the domestic violence, and we found more abuse in children. So these are things that I think the Ministry of Social Development knew about this. So they had sent out warnings. And if you notice, even the Commissioner of Police knew about the domestic violence, and he kind of launched his campaign at this time. So that was ideal for it to come on board at this time. So therefore, when you had that initial lockdown, then you have a situation where after now, when the parents are now not getting jobs, sometimes losing the jobs, being unemployed, not knowing where finances are coming, that now puts a further burden on the child as well as the parent. And this is why now social services would come into play to ensure we pick up that slack. So a mother who doesn't have money to buy food, the food grants and these things.
The school lunches and so on.
Yeah, the school luncheon to come for the children. You see, so let's just say there are some kids, their parents are so poor, the only good meal they get is when they go to school. So therefore, social services have to look at these children who might be underprivileged and target to even drop these lunches home to them. Because sometimes, there's some children, the parents just can't afford it. And if now you lose your job, you're unemployed, is worse. So therefore, targeting these kids, nourishing them, giving them that nourishment tends to help. Now, so we know the COVID has this stress. And, the problem with children too, they know, it comes like their whole world is being turned upside down, and some children express that they have feelings of helplessness when, they can't help their family and friends, they see a father or mother unemployed and they can't do anything, so they feel helpless. Then some of them feel lonely, so they have no friends in school to run around, play, and the contacts they have. Some of them are worried if the parents go to work and catch COVID and die. So these little minds have started to fester on that, the fear of having to fend for themselves if the parents die. And so all of these things, and some children just complain of boredom. They just bored home, And the thing is, lack of outdoor play. You see, outdoor activity causes less negative emotion. So once you find a child not running around and playing, there's a greater tendency to have depression and anxiety. So these are things, the uncertainty of future regarding studies, profession, all these things. The older kid now, the teenager, will want to know what to do.
Given the risks we face now with COVID, how do you feel about the SEA classes being shut down?
Well, the thing is, you remember, if even before the SEA, even before the COVID, SEA was like a stress on our kids. People have to realize that it was really a situation where a lot of kids and their parents would have been under a lot of pressure. So even before COVID, we looked at the situation with SEA, the SEA as a source of stress, and sometimes we would see that. Now with the COVID now, you found that if these children are preparing for a particular date for the exam, and mentally they are prepared for that, that is something that some children now and the parents would go towards that date. And this is why sometimes some parents would say, let's go towards that date. But the reality is, if you are having classes with, the common entrance classes, the SEA classes, and you find that it is starting to spread there, now we have to now make a compromise. If our children are at risk, we may have to get some other system where we would not be able to put them at that risk. Because some parents may say, I don't want my child to go in a school environment where nobody can really guarantee you that it'll be 100% safe.
There's no safety net, yes.
Yeah. So this is the anxiety that some parents have. Now the problem with the anxiety is this: yes, we want the child to progress, but then we have to progress in a safe manner as possible. And the thing is, if you find that there's a child who, could do the learning at home, that is really the safest way to go at this stage. Now, the problem we have is if some children do not have the devices, how are they going to learn? Again, this is where now we have to identify the children who would not be able to have the devices, the
technological aspect of it, yes.
Yeah, and even if they could afford it, if the mother is now unemployed and cannot afford to connect to the internet, so all these are factors that we have to get the vulnerable family, we have to get the vulnerable children, and at least give them that chance to see if they can come out of there. So just as how
what would you recommend to the government?
Well, the thing is, right now I think it is risky to have our children out in school. It is risky because, you feel a level of uncomfort. Your child probably have to travel to school. Then another child may bring this germ in, and you don't know if how clean. Remember, adults are not even obeying the laws, outside in the bars and whatnot. So children are children. They may pull out, if they may tell them to wear masks. Mm-hmm. They may pull it out, they may play, it mightn't be in their mind. So therefore, it is a little more difficult to get a child to obey the social distancing, to obey the hand washing and whatnot done, So therefore, in situations like that, you wouldn't want your children to be vulnerable. And you see, each child who gets exposed and exposes a class of 30 or whatever, when those children go home, you have all that contact tracing to do and everything there to go after. So I think the safest thing they should really do now is really look at the fact that you have the online classes, get to the online classes and see what you could do. If you have to even defer the exam, you may have to defer it. Remember, if this thing is going to last, and some people predict 2 years sometimes, you may have to put the world in a standstill position where you're not going to have that level where you're going to have your children exposed. And so therefore the whole educational structure has to change, because even though you pass for high school, practically you may not be able to go to that high school. You understand?
True, yes.
So the thing we always found is that let us say, you remember, different children come from different backgrounds, different homes. Not all of them will be on the same level playing field. Mm-hmm. So you have to now get to the children. Listen, once you learn the syllabus, it doesn't matter if you take a year, 2 years, 3 years, once you learn it, the whole idea we want to know, you get that level of knowledge.
Right.
You see what happened? Our educational system has always put us in that bracket. You have to finish this by age 11, age 12.
You have to write SEA, you have to pass.
Yeah, but the practical is, a child may come from a home with an alcoholic father who can't study, who doesn't have the money, who is not on an equal footing for another child who may have all the comforts and all the lessons. So we have to accommodate children who come from different homes and don't let them feel that I'm not achieving this at this age. I am somehow less of a person or develop an inferiority complex. That child will know, I will catch up. With the guidance, with the care, that child could catch up. And this is how society now has to tell that child, you can catch up. And you see, the thing is, I remember adults in university, they do online learning. So it's a matter of having that online learning that children now could say we can adapt to this. The problem we have is children want to play. So how are they going to play in an environment? How are they going to run about? How are they going to expend that energy? And this is the difficulties we have in now. With some children just locked away.
And this is the challenge, the greatest challenge that we face now, today, with them being at home.
Being at home.
Yes.
Have
you made any recommendations to the government?
Well, I had recommended before that schools really shouldn't be open, because unless we know for sure what is happening with this, especially now with this second wave in the community, you have to be very, because you see, before this second wave, we had two minds about it. If I am a working mother and I have to go to work to make my money for my child, who's going to see my child home? So some working mothers, single mothers will say, I'd rather my child go to school, right? Another person who could probably afford to be home with their child, who could work from home, will say, I'd rather my child home, not going to be exposed. So it was initially a good plan to have the best of both worlds. So you offer parents who rather their child home to stay home, but you still get the classes from the classroom being sent, to the children at home. So you still have that children at home being able to get the classes online. Those now who go into class now, who parents say, look, I have nobody to see my kid, you have now actually cut down the class level. Because let us say you had a class at 30 and 15 say they staying home. Obviously, cut down the class level. But you see, even though you cut down that class level, the problem we are having is usually the mothers who have to go to work are the ones who cannot afford private cars to drop the children to school. And if they have to do public transport, all these things you have to factor in. So even though you get in the classroom a little empty, because you have, by half the children probably will be able to stay home and have their devices and whatnot. The other half, they have to ensure that when they come in, all the proper protocols are ensured, temperature testing, you sanitize properly. Even with the class now, you have to monitor these children carefully. So that would have been ideal if there was no community spread. But now with community spread, we may have now to say, listen, we have to go back to square one, keep the kids at home.
Yes. Doc, I was reading about the South Korean Center for Disease Control, right, where it showed that just last week, children in the age bracket of 10 to 19 years old age range, they can spread the coronavirus within their own household just as effectively as adults. Do our ministry here accept that?
Yeah. The thing is, we have to also appreciate that if you have a household with your grandmother or your grandfather there, you now put in those individuals at risk if the kids bring this germ home. So therefore, the fact is the exposure to the other family members is something you have to factor in also. So the safe thing is to keep the children under lockdown. Now the thing is, in the Canadian system, they say there's something called a double bubble, where they said, okay, you have your few contacts here, but then you have another set of contacts that, hopefully they will give you the guarantee that they're not going out on the public, and when they're going out, they have all the protocols in place. So the double bubble means that you have a bigger group where the kids now could probably share friendship with the other friends, but then you have to ensure that the parents and those children are really taking that safety.
They have to adhere to the strict guidelines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, so this is the challenge we now face. Because remember, children now have fear, worry, anxiety. They may come as depression later on, and all these things may now, we'll be looking at a scenario where we're looking at the virus itself, but if it leaves these psychological problems, we have to deal with that later on.
It can have an effect on their learning ability and their results in future.
And the other thing too, remember, the nice thing about school, it teaches children to socialize. They have to wait in line, they have to listen to rules, they have to learn about difference in opinion. So now this is a problem. Now we already had this generation of children so much into their games, they lack that social ability, even reading faces. So even we look at teenagers now, not able to go out and read people properly because everything is online. So now, when we are thinking that in school, these little children will be learning social skills, socialization, how to read people, the reading order, the teacher, whatnot, even that now is being taken away. So that is again challenging now, that when this thing comes out, how will these persons now integrate back into to get back their social skills, which is something we send children to school to learn,
Doctor, thanks for your time. You're very generous with your time, and thank you for calling me back. We will keep in contact with you, and you can catch this interview on U975 on YouTube, okay? And don't be a stranger to us. Thank you very much. That is Dr. Varma Dayal Singh, psychiatrist and medical practitioner, speaking about how children are suffering in different ways from adults, right? While scientists are still struggling to understand how the virus affects children in particular. Remember, children can also spread it to their older caregivers. How does it affect their learning? How does it affect their future and their course in life? We see the calls are coming in, but we have to take a short commercial break now. And when we come back, we will entertain all of your calls. Politics 2020 on U975 FM, hot like pepper, multicultural radio.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you. Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rosha Douglas Road, Barraco, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations. Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
Sign my name with a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, yeah. Anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name with a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How will you sign my name with a PNM pen? We vote in PNM.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk. Talk Your Talk.
25 minutes before the top of the hour. Welcome back, listeners, to all our viewers and listeners, all our viewers on the World Wide Web, and to those on YouTube on RCLU 975. Thank you for joining us. Let us return to the lines. Good afternoon.
And good afternoon.
Hello.
Three issues I would like to speak about. I'm glad that the psychiatrist hit the nail on the head.
Yes, he did.
When he said, and I fully agree with him, because if those children who are home, if they come from middle-class families where their parents are educated at university and so on, those children would not suffer because the parents would teach them at home.
Mm-hmm.
But it's those other parents who are not educated, they have a primary school education, and they do simple job, menial jobs and so on. Then
They
those
may not be
children
able
would-
to afford the internet.
Well, this is it.
As
They
simple
will
as
suffer.
that.
I'll give you my own example. I have two sons, and I used to teach them the SEA syllabus at home, wait with them at night. And when they were doing their O-levels, I taught them at home physics, chemistry, biology, English language, and English literature.
Mm-hmm.
And when my smaller son was doing his O-levels in physics, computer science, and mathematics, well, I did A-level physics, so I used to help him with that. So when he was doing his CAPE. But with the mathematics, I only did add maths. I didn't do A-level maths like him. But there are certain topics like coordinate geometry and indices and so on. I used to help him with certain topics. And I used to have to beg them to go to sleep. They were always with their books. And when they finished at university, they are both computer scientists with master's degree in that. They're always on a computer. And the way I have a big piece of land there, 14,000 and almost 15,000 square foot of land. And they used to play the cricket and the football there. So they didn't have to go out. Anyway, so that is one thing. The second one, I spoke about this last week, and I will give you a further update. In England, for example, if you go as a foreign student and you get your degrees and so on, and you want work experience, there's a special work permit you get to get work experience there, but then you have to leave the country. Now, if the government wants you, if you are doing a subject where there's a shortage of those professionals, then they will give you permanent resident status and you get the job. If that is not the case and you have to come back. So if you may work for 5 years, for 10 years, and you come back, there, you are not permanently resident, you're not a citizen, and although you are paying taxes, you are not entitled to a pension, right? That is in England. You are not entitled to a pension. So I want to make that very clear for one of your callers who was very disrespectful to me. Now, the last one I want to talk about. In Syria, there's over 1 million refugees from Syria in Jordan, in the Middle East. And Jordan, the Jordanian government has built huge tent cities where these people live. And they have portable toilets, they run water and so on for them. You have the same thing. The Syrian refugees in the southern part of Turkey, the government has always built tent cities for them. But the Venezuelans who come here, we have them all over the place. They have to rent and so on. Now, I have seen many Venezuelans here in the area which I live. And they are selling bottled water at the side of the road. They have an umbrella and they're selling it. And they're doing menial jobs. In the Chaguanas borough, where I belong, you have the people, the garbage trucks are under contract. They're not owned by the borough council. Those are contract garbage collectors. And in back of them, the people picking up the garbage are Venezuelans. So one of your callers there who mentioned that they can't get a job and the Venice getting a job, would they go to the back of a truck there and pick up garbage? Would they go and work in a pork shop? Would they sit in the hot sun and sell water? There's a lady there, a young girl from Venezuela who has a degree in mechanical engineering from one of the universities in Venezuela. And she went on social media and she was on the papers as well, the newspaper, saying she will take any job to make a living. And lo and behold, a certain company gave her a job as a mechanical engineer. So the persons and them who say the Venezuelan taking away a job, what job are they taking away? The lady there with the degree in mechanical engineering, that caller who said they're taking a job, is any of her children have a degree in that particular field and didn't get a job? No, we have to have we cannot take many people because we are a small country, but we must realize that these people are desperate. Nobody would leave their country and come in a boat there, illegally here, risking their lives because they can't get food and medicine in their own country. And we as fellow human beings must help these people. We must help them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 636-7547, 2275739. How do you feel about schools reopening in September? Should schools be reopened? You heard the goodly doctor speaking. He talked about weighing the detriment of being kept at home against being in a social environment. What are your feelings or thoughts on that? Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, Belmont here again. Good afternoon.
Hello, Mr. Belmont.
Well, Dr. Lutzman was quite explicit. You don't have to question what he said. But I would like to say something about Dr. Dilal Singh's contribution.
Yes, Dilal Singh.
Because while he made all those remarks about the children and so on, which good I don't know, but he failed to mention what the cocaine is doing and the excessive alcohol is doing and causing domestic violence and causing crime and causing people to kill people. Because right there in St. Anne's Hospital, there are 23 people who killed their mother, their sister, their brother, and they were sent to the St. Anne's Hospital because they were not fit to be tried. And I don't know how it is. He don't want to ask them what drugs they was taking. And now that we legalize or decriminalize marijuana, the cocaine has come in disguise. They call Kush, K-U-S-H, Kush, and it is disguised. And this is what's turning off all the youths. The same youths he talk about and trying to protect, a lot of them is not learning because the father was under Kush. And the children that come after, you see, he didn't do any experiment. That isn't taught in the school in London. It isn't taught in the school at St. Augustine. That is road knowledge. We as parents and brothers and sisters and friends of these people who has been victim of coke, and he is not thinking about that. And his professor Hutchison, the same thing, and it's perpetuating all the time. And the victim, I'm sorry for them, and also the attacker, I'm sorry for them, because if they had gotten psychiatric care and not injection and not 2 tablets, they were put in a ward and treated, they would have been mentally fit and they would not have killed people, because the judge in England tell you, Lord Deming tell you, for one to kill another, you have to go off first. And that is the reason why they abandoned the hanging. So I don't know what is happening to our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belmont. I think you missed the whole boat and issue of what Dr. Dayal Singh was trying to say. I asking about the impact of low-income and medium-sized families, what the effect of COVID-19 will have on their family life if their children are kept away from school. The social and psychological impact. Okay, we are not speaking about the parents being on cocaine. We know that is an issue. Sure it is. But there are some families, you know, Nicole,
Genuine.
families who they depend on these school lunches.
Yes.
They depend on after school care. And if they are kept away from school, their grades are likely to slip.
Yes.
And that is the point I was trying to make.
You know something, Dr. Dayal Singh was right where he said, you know, children, they would want to play. And I actually
That is how
experienced
children
that.
are. That is how children.
I
That's their nature.
I literally beg my kids, y'all pick up the book, do some revision. Not them, they're home. When you're home, you're in a different mindset.
Well, my son is quite different. Well, he's an adult, but
yes,
he's always behind the computer.
Yeah.
He's a computer addict. So we have different types of children in society, and we have to accept that. But now the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they are recommending that school reopen in September.
Yes.
That is why I chose to do this interview now. I want to know where our government stands on it. Give and take that August 10th is general election, there will be another government in office, and they will have to deal with it. They will have to face it. 636-7547, 227-5739. What impact do you think keeping the kids at home will have on their family life, on their learning ability? Do you think it will have an effect? Do you think that they will suffer mental and physical health traumas? Call me in. We are discussing this fact that SEA classes have been shut down now, and the children have to learn at home. What about those parents that can't even afford to buy a tablet?
Yes.
And therefore
pay for internet service.
Their children can't. So Dr. Dayal Singh made an excellent suggestion that they have a bubble, a group.
Yes.
Right? And they meet group. Of course, you have to know the group that you are meeting. And you have a specific group and you meet in groups. And maybe this is the new norm. And this is how learning will have to go on. Because the world cannot shut down. After all, COVID is here to stay.
Exactly.
It is here to stay for quite a while. 636-7547, 227-5739. You can also WhatsApp us on 378-4975. So how are your kids making out at home?
Well, they are home spending a lot of time on YouTube. My daughter, however, she is she's finding herself doing too many mischievous things. Like when I go, I have to be like, Amelia, you need to keep the rooms clean. Amelia, you need to do this. It's crazy. I'm even finding bits and pieces of my makeup all over the house. I know she has been interfering.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm a new caller to your station.
Welcome.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you for calling.
Yes. Well, I think we have to work with the virus.
Yes.
But the virus is not working with us.
Yes.
And we are having difficulty controlling the virus, but the virus has a very easy opportunity and a very easy time controlling us. So the virus is in a superior position in this fight, and the virus is dictating the pace, and we need to accept that. Until we as a species can get a vaccine, or some kind of therapeutics, meaning, treatment, which is not a vaccine, you can get medicines and so on that would push the virus back, or at least help people survive and beat it out with their own immune system as time goes by. Unless we can get some of that works well, this virus is going to put a serious damper on the human species. And that is what has happened. And we cannot take the position that we have things to do, and therefore we will ignore certain detrimental aspects of the virus because we are going to do a trade-off. Sometimes in life you do a trade-off. You want a certain thing, but you want another thing too, so you say, well, I'll spend the money this way and I'll spend a little that way. I can't have this because I want to live a certain way, so the money goes here, and you do a trade-off, you improve your education, or you spend money in your house, or some trade-offs. You cannot do trade-offs with this virus, because the virus is not willing to trade off. You give it the opportunity, it will spread, and once it's spread, well, people will die, people will get sick, and it will continue to spread. So, to me, we cannot open the schools. And that bit of information that you have, that they want to reopen, somebody gives the green light to reopen schools in the U.S., it's on a case-by-case, state-by-state, city-by-city basis, The local authorities will decide that. It's not coming from the Trump administration that everybody is supposed to close down, or everybody is supposed to open, or everybody is supposed to do this, that, or the other. They have a vast country, and every little corner of it.
I said it come from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and they are recommending this.
Okay.
You didn't listen carefully to what I had to say.
Yes. That's why I said that bit of information. I know I missed the exact thing. But what I'm saying is that that would always be applied, because I remember they had interrogated one of the doctors on the Trump team, and she had stood her ground and said, well, yes, we want to reopen schools, but of course it's different everywhere, so your go-to position is we want to reopen schools, but clearly in some places you can't, right? So that's not a blanket position. It cannot be. It would be scientifically very foolish to take a blanket position. So whatever the exact words are, it is my position that they cannot take a blanket position on that at this time, and therefore we too cannot just follow what we hear. We have to look at our situation. Every day we are getting more and more people, wherever it's coming from. Some say it's the Venezuelans, some say it's people who you know, and it's well, we clearly know it's turning up in schools and so on, right? But we know that the numbers are increasing every day, 8, 9, 10, 12, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. And all of that is adding to what was the day before. Whatever the number was before, your 10 tomorrow is added to that. So we are in a very dangerous position here regarding all this contact that you will have if you open schools, and we cannot open. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 636-7547, 227-5739. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Anna and Oma.
Hello.
It's
Nicole.
What I try to understand, this is really in a different position here. The people who willing to learn, you have the tools to learn. And the people who are the tools to learn, then can learn.
They don't want to learn.
They can learn. The people who are the tools, who have everything in the tip of the finger, can learn.
That's right.
And the people who willing to learn and want to learn, they don't have the tools to learn. We have to live like that until we try to get.
Well, that is where the Ministry of Social Development comes in.
Yeah, right. So somebody has to be doing something. Again, I can't understand the virus. The virus has to be the virus when it started 65 years and over old people. That is one set of virus. The next set of coronavirus started come to the middle age. The third one started come to the school with the young ones. So which is the three kind of coronavirus we have? So just one coronavirus doing all these things. So hear what? You have 100 coming in Saturday. You're going to test that 100 coming in Saturday. And if you look good with that 100, then the election will come. Which government win the election? I think we could take the open at the school account of what we get with the 100 coming. That 100 is a test. So let me hope they come in clean and everything finished clean. And by September, school will have to open, or the case maybe because it will have no carnival. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, carnival out of the door from that situation.
Later, let's get past August 10th and then we'll decide that whether it has carnival or not. Let's take it one step at a time and don't jump the gun. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon again, Anne.
Yes, Doc.
Dr. D, I think got something wrong. He said there's a second wave. No country on this planet has a second wave of the virus. You have what you call local spikes, and I'll give you one example. The southern state of Victoria in Australia, which has the second largest city, Melbourne, there's been a great increase in the number after the first lockdown, and they reopen up the state. There's a great increase in the number of people being infected. So they have a very serious lockdown there now. And recently you had the same thing in New York, where people from other states were being monitored at the border of the state of New York. So it's not a second wave. If you have a second wave, it means you'll have it in many countries, all over the country, and not in just one locality. And I must thank you for what you did yesterday. One of your callers decided to attack Eric personally, and you cut him off. Thanks for putting your foot down. Thank you.
Thank you. 636-7547. If you have an opinion and you don't want to call in, you can also WhatsApp us on 3784975. We are getting close to the top of the hour. Remember, just after 6 p.m. is Mukesh Baburam with Talk Your Talk. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anne. I think a lot of those children who are poor and come from broken family structure will struggle. They will be left behind for a whole year, probably 2 years academically. Because we have a lot of children in this country who cannot read and write. And they are passing exams and being sent into college and universities, and they don't have the aptitude to manage classes. This is the reality with the University of the West Indies. They say that when a lot of students coming in, they can't even write. They don't know how to spell. But they're passing common entrance and they're going into school. You see, I think the Minister of Education needs to retire, but hopefully he will. Because he never had a vision for the education of the young children. He never formed partnerships with communities. He didn't try to work with families. It was the same old, same old. And I feel like in the end, the education, the money that we had from COVID, all of this extra funding that they're spending on the campaign should have been spent on the infrastructure for the education system come September 1st. But he's throwing money around on tourism, on all these other things. The whole world is kind of upside down because of this virus. And everybody, a lot of countries are taking risks and chances, and they're trying to say, let's go on normal as usual, but it's really challenging because every time businesses open up, they have to close down again because this virus is actually taking over hospitals. Every ICU hospital is it's filled to capacity. And it's hitting every single country. And I know that once we get this virus in a mass, if it comes like a big wave here, which I don't know, Dr. Lutchman, he doesn't believe in the wave, but if it does come through community contact, a lot of people are going to be in the hospital, and we won't have the infrastructure because this virus targets people who have very weak immune systems, people who are developing immune systems, and then the long-term effects of this virus hasn't been studied because they're saying there's neurological damage and there's organ failure later on in life. So even if you get the virus and you're a carrier, they're still studying those people who are carriers because they say their life has been shortened because exposure to the virus causes something in their DNA to change in their organs. And so we were playing with a new biology. This is like the new AIDS epidemic now, or a new cancer epidemic. And I feel like our Prime Minister is kind of taking a back seat, talking about he said, she said, corruption, and he's not worried about lives that could be lost in the future. And the biggest worry I have is our children, because they are going to be left behind again. Thanks, Anne.
Thank you. You have just about 2 minutes to call in before we take a top of the hour break. 636-7547, 227-5739. If you have missed any part of this program, remember, listeners, you can get it on YouTube on RCLU 975. Now, according to the Johns Hopkins University of Medicine, children are suffering in different ways from adults. And this is why I asked Dr. Dalting what recommendations he have made to the government because, well, Parliament have been dissolved, but he was a sitting independent senator. He's also head of the Psychiatry Association, and he have done a lot of work in this area, making recommendations to the Ministry of Social Development. And this is why I asked him what recommendations were made to help these children, particularly the children who are poor, who come from poorer homes. Those I'm speaking about, those who may come from single parent homes, those who their lives would have been disrupted because some mothers, they actually depend on that school lunch for their
Yes,
child.
yes.
You heard the doctor say that may be the only good meal they may get for the day. How are these children going to learn when they are kept at home? You can't keep them at home forever. It's a two-way argument.
What about situations where it's just a single mother or a single father and they have to work? Who is going to be
at home to
Yep.
take care of them? Like that grandmother in Rio Claro that was looking after the 4-year-old
Yes.
child, and he ran away and drowned in the neighbor's pool.
Yes.
Right? You would have situations like that, which was unfortunate. It's just about the 5 p.m. hour. Let us take a short commercial break and we will be right back.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BT Sino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This broadcast brought to you by the PNM.
Without the PNM in office, today we could not point to the National Investment Fund, called the NIF. $8 billion of assets we had to fight to get back from people who had no intention of honoring their responsibility to the taxpayer. We had to fight to get that. And what did we do with it? We created a National Investment Fund. For that alone, we had the right choice to continue.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
You got to be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you're living here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for a piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad because capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility. In this country, so many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day. In this country, our voraciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal. Would you believe me? 1 nylon panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over 60, 200 and change a yard for silk. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette just leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get. In this country, necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is, they're charging anything they please. In this country, primary school books price is lewd, is highway robbery the price of food. All hopes and dreams elude the poor man, but politicians still expect good work attitude. Just imagine this, the cheapest coffee, over 3,000, not even dying today easy. Thousands of dollars for the undertakers, so you could get a spot in the cemetery. It hard here in Trinidad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad. The gladness that once we had is gone because capitalism gone mad. You got to have heavy contact, know how to move up in society to make any kind of impact. In this country, you got to know how to chip the feel, how to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of wheel and deal. In this country, I say survival in this land isn't easy for no man. With unemployment and high inflation, some of this recession? Where the hell is this? Some mango chuli, costing $3.50, $40 for one watermelon. Half your salary for fish, meat, and poultry. Time you buy greens, all your money done. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more hard. Lord, capitalism gone mad.
Ten minutes after 5 p.m. on Politics 2020. That was the Mighty Sparrow, Capitalism Gone Mad. Which I think that songs, it displays a lot about where the politics of our country today stand. You gotta have money for everything. When I opened the program, we were discussing the distribution of handouts to voters, to the electorate out there, where many of you had a very strong feeling about it. Some of you agreeing, some of you disagreeing, and I was pointing out to the electorate out there that you too, as a recipient of these gifts, you can be charged. So just be careful out there. 6367547 2275739. Today is Thursday. You have just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. Bam! It's that grand day where you have a chance to come out and stain your finger in the electoral ink, voting which government you want in power. Call me in and tell me, how do you feel about where we stand today as a society, where the handling of COVID-19 is concerned? Some people think that the election should have been postponed. The goodly Prime Minister say, this pandemic or not, the election goes on. And rightly so, throughout the world, people are adjusting and living with COVID-19 because it is here to stay for quite a while. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, the Honorable Anne.
Hello, sir.
Are you riding solo today?
Partly.
All right, okay, well, good afternoon to your guest who is guesting with you today. Is Nicole?
She's in and out.
All right, okay. Now, I want to talk about the COVID and the additional 8.
Yes, that they found today.
Right, and they're saying 5. It's still what is it? They go now, epidemiological.
Yeah, epidemiological.
Right, trying to pinpoint where it come from. But we don't have to be bright. We don't have to be like the brightest man in the world when this Eric Williams is. We know where it is coming from. The fact is, we have 12 boats down there, and we have not locked down because one of the things the former Prime Minister said, this is security dome, and a lot of people don't understand what is a security dome. And if they're sensible enough, they mustn't equate it dome to be dumb, because a lot of them dumb now, including the man of the house. Because I was now reading of the net where the Americans have just bought this security dome from Israel, the technology to lock down its border. And people have to understand, we as a country, we want to go forward, So we have to think positively, we have to think outside the box, and we have to think with where technology is going. It's just like a sensor. When you have a motion sensor, it's a security dome, If you have a 360 degrees sensor. You know that is security dome?
Of course.
A range of 15.
It don't have to be a physical feature.
Right. So you understand what I'm saying? And it lights up and it protects you. So that is what a security dome is, with the radar, this and that, and the police and things like that. But we leaving it for them to come through, and then we say we can't trace them. We still have to do this tracking and researching. That is a poor excuse for mismanagement. My hat goes out to the SCA students because we are feeling them miserably. We have had 2 non-performing ministers in education. One was focusing on building a stage and who winning the election in Guyana, and the other one was sleeping most of the time. And that is where they put our children now. The sort of trauma that those children have gone through. Just before March was the right time for them to peak. They send them home. Now they bring them back and they send them home.
You heard what Dr. Dayal Singh said about the risk to their lives?
Well, I didn't hear, but I do like to listen to him, because he says a lot of things without any sense. But yeah, there are risks, because little children cannot
The
basically manage
psychological
themselves.
effect it will have on them, not only for the next couple of months, but could have an impact on their learning ability, for the next couple of years. Children are psychologically affected.
Yeah, and I suppose the other thing is if they get it too, there could be long-lasting effect. But the reality is it, and a lot of the scientists saying, the new norm, we have to live with it, and we have to be educated and intelligent to know what we must not do and what we have to do to mitigate it. The place, say, 5 months down the road, 1 month down the road, everybody in Trinidad might be walking about as a robot with a face shield. No, it's serious. That is
serious. Today in London, actually, they have
mandated it.
Yeah, in certain areas they have specified if
Right,
you're traveling on the subway, on the train, and so on, you
and
have to wear a mask. It's mandatory.
One of the weaknesses of this government, they procrastinate. Why they don't mandate it too?
In outdoor restaurants, and I had the list, but it went off the screen. But they had mandated it today in London. They have make it mandatory.
And let's do it in Trinidad. Don't say you want to persuade people and encourage them. It doesn't work. You have to implement stringent. This is something is new to us. So you have to be stringent and tell people you have to bat in your crease, else you're going to be affecting somebody. Look, for example, I'm not saying and being discriminatory about the Venezuelans coming, but a lot of them walking all over the place without masks. A lot of them doing work in people's yard without masks and things like that. So you have to be a little bit skeptical and a little bit paranoid. Am I safe that those people across there doing work? And the chances are I am living here. Because they say it could be transmitted in breeze too, eh?
Yes.
So we have to be careful. And anytime you see them walking around, the people responsible for our protection have to ask a question. So, hey, and I the police, I Gigi and the team, why are you not wearing all your masks? Oh, it's a lot of talk. We're studying about who getting fridge and who Jolin John buying fridge for. Jolin John buy fridge and think for a person who was hit twice with water, flooded out. The man had new thing and he get it again. And that is where, but somebody went up with camera and put it all over the place. And if
Kola, it wasn't just one instance, eh?
No, but 20 people get flooded out too,
Yes, but I was, at the opening of my program, you missed that. I was going through the law where it pertains to that.
Well, that is not for vote. That is a humanitarian thing. If a man flooded, and Ian Allen was one of the most innovative and proactive person when it had the flood.
Did she have to put herself in the photograph to be known that she is giving it out?
I don't know. For
If a
example,
child needs 100,000 for heart surgery, you will have to put an ad in the paper to say you give that money, or you'll give it for
not really. But the thing is, look, when the Kalu brothers used the boat to pull up everybody, they were heroes. Anybody nominate them for doing what the government's supposed to do and they didn't do it? it have a lot of people. Some like the picture, some like it. Look, this fella, Terrible Terrence, the person applied for money and he went in Parliament and he called out the name. You understand what I'm saying? It's wrong all over the
being
place.
a person as a public figure should not be doing that.
But that person in government, that person taking out from their pocket.
No, they're not in government, but they are in the public eye. You
But that is saying that a lot of people.
seeking to be my representative.
Right. Yeah, no,
So you should
but
lead by example.
look, for example, a lot of the lawyers they do pro bono when they're injustice, and they tell you they're doing it pro bono. So yes, we could pick on all of those things. It's election time, and it probably could be that. But at the end of the day, they're giving something of their own self. I go and have a nice day.
Thank you. 636-7547 2275739. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good evening.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
I just want to say something about these, I don't want, what's the right word, gifts or the needs, the
handouts.
In times of this election, what I call the silly, stupid season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of MPs or would-be MPs put themselves up, just like what you're talking about. Giving this one wheelchair, giving that. Now, all these things, yeah, I think I'm sure they have their place. But it's so cheap. And I can't believe all of us fall for that kind of thing. Because come Tuesday morning, I wonder if everybody, whether who in power or who not in power, will continue to go to people's houses and do that same kind of thing. Right? And I see one particular guy, he's all over the place. And hats off to him. And if you ask me, it's a cheap shot and people fall for it. The recipient of these gifts, well, I glad for them. But I know they know, just like thousands of other people who voted in this country for water, for a decent road, we even asking for resurfacing. Look, UNC is the corporation in Chaguanas. And a certain person who going up in the borough, you should come and see the potholes that they full up, and saying how they will serve the community. They just throw the stone there and nothing to cover it up. And then to come now and say you want to go up as an MP, and she's saying how she's so good and she just, and I say if I have to assess you based on what you do on the road by me in Pencoland, you ain't going nowhere, girl. You know, I can't believe this is where we reach, and it's really a silly, stupid season. People really have to sit down and think this thing over, how we voting or what we're doing. And I just want to say one little thing. You see the independent approach to this country now, with independent representation, I feel that going somewhere positive.
It's picking up finally.
Yes. All right. Thank
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in. 636-7547 2275739. Well, Mukesh Baburam just made it through the front door. You know, one of his fans yesterday said Mukesh does arrive in a jet. So I'm looking outside to see the jet, but don't know if it came through the rain. Yes. Probably. Hello, good afternoon.
And I'd like to add something, and I'll be very brief.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, sometimes, right, when you're a politician, especially in Trinidad, because I've been in politics years ago, and people will come to you in the community. You have to go, when you're going to canvass a community, you have to go through certain layers sometimes. Like you have to go through maybe a village council or a leader in the community, and they will tell you who are the voters, and they'll identify them for you. And as you canvass the community, sometimes those leaders will say, you know what, throw in something there, man. Let me help the people in this village now. If you give them something, you know, they're going to feel good. Right now, they're not feeling good. So it's not like a politician is making a decision saying, you know what, I want to get them vote. I'm going to buy everybody a fridge. How would she know who to get that? Or you go with a truck and you knock at everybody's door and you say, here's a free fridge. Vote for me. That is so absurd that the Prime Minister would make such an accusation. And Jerlene John was on I-95. She made a comment about it. It's ridiculous. You know, listen, when you have a raffle and you're selling a raffle ticket, You will go to people who you know will help you and support your raffle. You wouldn't randomly go to poor people. You want to go to people with money. And so I feel like, from my mind, there are people in our community that take advantage of politicians too because they want to have a hook. Because if you want something for your village, you will be nice to the minister. You will kiss his feet so that every time you need a favor, he'll get it for you. But you want to remain in power in your community. So you know what? You'll bring something to the community members now. You'll ask a minister, give me something now. Give the village something now. Show some stuff over there for them now. That is the mentality, and it's wrong, but that is how that is how politics is sometimes. And I feel like if she had given money and cash and all these things, it would have been very different. But these are necessities. And like I said before, I've been through 5 floods. 5 floods. It was maddening. And I'm thinking of somebody getting a stove or a fridge in La Joquita whose property was destroyed by a flood caused by corruption. What would go through your mind? You know, it's just, we can change, and I believe we need to change, and it's going to come on Monday, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you know, callers and listeners, these are indeed serious allegations that is being made by the Prime Minister, and I think it warrants some investigation. Let me just state to you that it is a breach of the Representation of the People's Act for attempting to influence the electorate in the upcoming general elections. It's 5:25. Remember Mukesh Baburam coming up, Talk Your Talk, just after 6 p.m. We have news at 6 with Nicole Dookie. And tomorrow, don't forget that Vaid Seeram will be joining me in studio for a full session tomorrow to discuss the economy. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Dookie. I have a question. I don't know if you